important for data analytics. And on top of that, I think, okay, I need to do some settings. Just give me a second. I hope I'm visible to all of you. Low audio, okay. Is it fine now? Oh, okay, 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 okay. Okay, great. So, mm, 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 mm. Okay. So hope it's going good now for all of you. Okay. So now this is the agenda of today's session. To be very specific, we will be starting with what is data analytics. Inside that, we'll discuss about what is the flow of a data analytics project. Along with that, we will be discussing about the components. Okay. Then we'll discuss about where exactly pandas comes into play. Okay. In the exact same, we also have NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Plotly. There are a lot of libraries comes in that particular part as well. We'll discuss about that as well. Okay. And at the meantime, I'll also keep track of the chat. So if you guys have any doubt, any discussion, anything to mention, so make sure to share with that in the chats as well. So at the meantime, throughout whenever I get some time, we'll discuss about the discussion as well. Okay. Yes, can you get the recordings? You will get the recording of the session as well. Today's session about data cleaning and manipulation techniques using pandas. Yes, it's about it, but we are discussing a bit backstory as well. So these two are basically the parts where we'll be discussing about data cleaning and analysis. Okay. And again, I don't want you guys to go for writing anything. Otherwise, I'll need to like remove you or go for the settings that I narrated it. So this is basically the flow of the session. In the first 10 minutes, will be giving to data analytics flow, right? And the next 20 to 30 minutes we'll give to pandas. And then we'll discuss about how data exploration, data cleaning, and basic data analysis can be done on the data sets. Okay. So now let's start with what is the flow of a data analysis project? Because this question is very basic, like what is data analysis, right? So let's discuss about the first thing. What is the flow of a data analysis project? Okay. Now to discuss the flow of the data analysis project, I want you guys to answer as well in the chat. So make sure to go for it will be shared with you like on the YouTube link. It's live on YouTube as well. Okay. So the funda is, what is data analysis? This is a pretty basic question. You might be saying, okay, we are having some data. We need to do some decision based on data. We need to have, so for that purpose, we need to analyze the data, go for a step-by-step process. This is how we reach to the final point of how data analysis works, right? But what is the exact flow of a data analysis project? Okay, so okay, the audio is low. I think it's fine now. Okay, okay. For some of you, it's fine. Okay, that's fine now. So basically, the funda is, if I am talking about just the flow of the project, it's basically 5 to 6 step process. Okay. Usually the data analytics project does not start from data. Then you might be thinking, what rubbish I'm talking about. It is data analytics, so it should start from data, right? But the answer is no. It is not starting from data. Any guesses where exactly it starts from? Any guesses? It will start from the agenda, or what I would say, the case study, or the problem that we want to solve. Okay, so agenda or the problem that we want to solve. Okay, for example, at Geeks for Geeks, if my agenda is to maximize my sale that I'm going to have next year, or probably next month, I'm going to have a special sale that I'm planning to have. So this is the agenda. I want to maximize my sale. This is the agenda. The agenda can be different for different use cases, right? So in the exact same way, we have different agenda for the different use cases, right? So it starts from agenda. We call it business case study or problem statement, as well as someone you have mentioned as well, Vardaraj. So yes, that's correct. So start from a problem statement or an agenda, right? Now the second step is to fulfill that agenda. We need to have something, right? And that something is nothing but the KPIs. Finding the KPIs, right? Finding the KPIs. You might be thinking now, what are KPIs? KPIs are the things that will help you fulfill that agenda, right? So KPIs are the things that will help you fulfill that agenda. Clear? So we'll have the problem statement, for example, to maximize the sale. Now, how to maximize the sales? There might be different questions that has to be answered, right? For example, if you have the data set of Airbnbs, right? You're working as a data analyst at Airbnb, and your task is to find the top 10 best Airbnbs. Now, the question arises, on what basis the best Airbnbs can be found? Is it the most trending one from last 60 days? Is it the most trending one from last 30 days? Now, how you will find trendy? That's also question altogether. Is it based on the most number of impressions? Is it based on the most number of bookings, or is it based on the best rated or the most number of rated? So there are multiple questions. Based on that, the agenda can be fulfilled, right? So first step is getting the agenda or the problem statement. Second is finding the key performance indicators. Based on that, the agenda can be fulfilled, right? And now the third step is gathering the data, right? Having data, right? Right. Rather than saying collecting the data, it would be better say gathering the data, because in the case of, for example, in the same example of Airbnb, so if you are working already at Airbnb, they already have this data, like how many people have booked a specific Airbnb in the last 30 days, in last 60 days, best rated, like the rating of the Airbnbs, the reviews of the Airbnbs, all of the things I already have, right? So I'll ask the company, ask my manager or whoever is concerned person to give you that data, right? And once you have the data, then the next step is to go for the rest of the things, right? Now you have the data, right? So once you have the data, now the next step is to go for data exploration. In the data exploration, exactly, I'll explore the data. For example, the data you have is not mandatory, it's there in one table. You might have data in multiple tables, and in multiple tables you might have the data that's not needed to get the answer of those questions, right? So there will be some unnecessary columns that are already there in the data set. So what you can do, you can remove those unnecessary columns, right? There might be some unnecessary data. For example, you want to analyze the data based on last 60 days purchase, based on last 30 days trend. So why do you need the whole data of last probably 10 years? You don't need it, right? So in the data exploration, we'll deal about these kind of things, okay? And we'll also deal about data cleaning things, right? For example, uh if okay, let I think the data exploration part is pretty clear. We will explore the data, like what has to be done on the data set. How many missing data do we have that we need to clean? How much data do we have that has to be cleaned in some other way? So this is what we have in data exploration part. And then comes the data cleaning part, right? So it is not As you can see, it's not starting from data, it's starting from agenda. Then we'll find the KPIs that can help you fulfill that agenda. Then we'll collect the data. Then we will explore the data. Then we will clean the data. Now I have enough information that this is what we need to do. And once we clean the data, then the last step is to data analysis, or basically analyze the data. And then the final thing is, some of you might be thinking data analysis and data visualization are kind of the same, but usually uh, it's a it's a bit different, not totally. Like if you want to integrate in data analysis and visualization, you can also go in the exact same way. Okay. And that's not it. There is a final step where we will get the final conclusion from this, right? What have you got in the exact visualization? What's the summary of the data? What what's the basic analysis, final result that you are getting from the data? That's the final part that we need to think of. Okay. So basically, this is what a whole data analysis flow is. Okay. And they depend upon the use case, they depend upon the agenda. We will be going with either go for data analysis, or means either go for after that dashboard building or deploying the dashboard or making the presentation or all the different sort of things. Okay. In today's session, we'll discuss about agenda and problem statement, because we are going to make the project on top of it based on pandas and this particular thing. And we'll basically work on till data cleaning and basics of data analysis part. In the session that we are going to have tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we'll be in detail discussing about how data analysis, data visualization, and storytelling, how to complete a specific project, that's it, and how you can post the same project on your GitHub and have all the hectic things ready, how to make a project industry ready. That's something we are going to discuss in the session tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So yes, we are going to have two more sessions aligned after this session as well. Okay. So basically, to give you the answer, so the first question, like what is data analysis or flow of DA project, this is how it goes. Okay. This is how it goes. Clear? Now the next thing is, this is how it goes. Okay, that's pretty simple. That's pretty easy to understand. Like we have the agenda. Based on that, we'll find the question through which this agenda can be solved. Then we'll collect the data, because the every decision should be data backed. Okay. And then we'll explore the data, clean the data, analyze the data, and visualize the data. Data analysis is not at all difficult. The difficult part is data cleaning. If data is clean, there are a lot of AI tools that can help you do a lot of things pretty easily. If your data is missing, is messy, so sorry, you don't have any tool that can help you in all the things. You need assistance of AI tools, but AI tools cannot do all the things for you. Clear? So this is the first thing that we are done. Okay. Now the next thing is, what exactly is this? What exactly is pandas? Okay. Now to do the data analysis thing, we also have a lot of other tools. For example, we can do it on Excel, we can do it on SQL, we can do it in Tableau or Power BI, Python. Why Python? There are a lot of information you might already have as well. Make sure to share it in the comments. Why Python is your go-to thing? I think so a lot of you might know as well that Python is not because it's the only language. It has a rich library base. It's easy to start with, and it will not only help you with data collection and data cleaning and data analysis and visualization and dashboard building. It will also help you to go for machine learning and deep learning and generative AI. It will take you forward into further steps as well after data analysis and all the things. It will also help you in deployment all and other things. Okay. So this is also the benefit of using like Python. Okay. And talking about rich library base, Python is, or basically Pandas is the most important library that we have in data analysis. Okay. We have Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn. There are a lot of other libraries as well that we have. But the main or go-to library that we are going to use is of Pandas. Okay. So now let's start with the problem statement, and then we'll load the data set. Okay. I'll give you like all the resources, all the information and all the links provided, so that like you can also join it, or you can also write the code by yourself after the session ends. Okay, so the code, or wherever we are going to write the code, I'm going to use a data set that I've collected by myself, and the data set is of jobs. Okay, naukri.com jobs data set. Okay, and how you can get the data set? The process is pretty simple, and I am going to search my name, and here I'll go to the first link, the GitHub one. I will go to repositories, and inside this repository, you need to go to search data set. Okay, and inside this data set, you will get the repository named as datasets. Okay, and this is the final link. I'm sharing the same link in the chats as well, so that you guys can save it somewhere or basically use it afterwards. Okay, so you need to go to this link, and inside this link, there are a lot of data sets available. We are going to use this job posting data set. Okay, this has jobs.csv.zip. This is the file that you can download. This is the file I'm going to use eventually. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to, you have two options. You can either download this data set, and to download this data set, the process is pretty simple. You know, to go to uh, mm, 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 these three dots, click on download. Okay, here it's not showing download right now. If you go to this zip file, then you can download this file as well. It's in the zip format. You need to unzip it and then use it. But right now that's totally fine if you are not doing it. Okay. So now the funda is where I'm going to actually write the code. To write the code, I'm using something called as Google Colab. Okay. So Google Colab is something that will help you write the code. So what you need to do, go to search on like Google, or whichever search engine you have, and you need to search for Google Colab. The moment you search on Google Colab, you need to go to either the first or the second link. That's totally fine, whichever you are going. And you need to click on a new notebook, and it will open a new notebook for you. Now, the funda is I have opened a new notebook, and I'm loading this data set. Then I'll tell you what is the problem statement, what is the agenda, so that I'll have a couple of questions in my mind that I can pinpoint, and I'll analyze or clean the data set accordingly. Right. So now for this purpose, okay, as you can see, I am currently using Google Colab. I just click on connect so that the source will be allocated to me. If you are new to using Colab, it's just like a Python IDE, or basically a coding environment where you can write the codes on Python. But rather than writing all the codes in one particular cell, that the ideal way of writing the codes in any Python IDE, we have multiple code cells where I can dedicate a specific code, and all the codes I can run specifically, and all the variables that are initialized, or all the details that are initialized in all these cells, are intact until you are restarting this. So that's the best part about it, right? So now the funda is, as you can see, it has provided me some decent resources, 12 gigs of RAM and 107 gigs of storage. It's great if you are training your machine learning and deep learning models. You can also go to runtime, change the runtime, and you can also use T4 GPUs. It costs a couple of $1,000, and these resources for free to train your deep learning models. But that's a session, that's a different session altogether. Now my task is to download this jobs.csv zip file and upload it here. So either you can download it and then go here, click on this folder and just drag and drop it, right? Or you can click on this arrow as well and you can upload it from here. This is part one. Or the second part is you can directly clone this repository, right? So I can go to this dataset repository, and I can copy this whole link. And then I can write git clone, click this and execute it. If this is the name of the repository, I can remove it and click OK. So it will start cloning the repository for me. Okay, so here you can see. Okay, I'm going to share with you this whole notebook so that you don't need to clone it. You don't need to download and upload it. You can directly clone it as well. So I'm going to share it with you. So no worries about it. Okay. So now the funda is, as you can see, it is cloning the whole repository. Okay. And why it is cloning the whole repository? Okay. Just give me a second. Let me change the annotations because there are a couple of users. Just because this thing is distracting me a little bit. So just give me a second. Okay. Okay. I think it's better now. Okay. So as you can see, the repository is cloned and repository is not even cloned. We also have something, the data set here. So if you go back, guys, please don't do it. Okay. Otherwise, like it will be disturbing for not only me but for all of you as well. So why to waste our time? Okay. So now as you can see, if I go back, all these folders that were here along with license and readme file are now here in this datasets folder. That's great, right? We don't need to download it and upload it again. So all the folders are here. I'm going to use this job posting dataset. So if you go here you can see jobs.csv.zip file. So I'm copying this path of the file and then I'm importing pandas. Now I'm importing the first library that we are going to use for data analysis. Okay. Or let me paste this path for now. And now the funda is to import any library like NumPy or Pandas or any library of your choice. You can write import space the name of the library. If the library is not installed on the environment, you need to import it. Install it first and then you can import it. Okay. I'm going to import pandas. Right. Now, why pandas? Because pandas is a library which has a lot of inbuilt functions that you can run on. For example, to load any data set in pandas, we have function. To select any column of the data set in pandas, we have function. In removing some rows which has some duplicate values in pandas, we have function, right? So all the things can be easily done with just single line. Okay, and because all of the things can be easily done with just single line, so that's why we are using pandas. So I can write import pandas and execute it, and that's it. So if I'm writing here pandas dot, so now in pandas we have a lot of functions. There is a function named as read underscore csv that can help you read a csv file, and that is it. You need to give the path of the csv file, click run, and here in front of you is the dataset. That is it. That's how easy it is, right? And here you can see, now let me show you a data set, a basic brief of the data set, and then I'll show you the problem statement, the agenda. Now, usually, as I've told you, it does not start from the data itself, but this is a very specific use case where I have the data. So I'll build a problem statement on top of it, then I'll see how to resolve this problem statement. Okay, now let me show you the problem statement real quick. Okay, so the statement will look something like this. Okay, skill based job search. That's pretty clear. Okay, now the funda is pretty simple. You need to do a skill based job search. Okay, this is the problem statement. And not basically skill based job search, or basically you need to find that you have couple of skill set. For example, you know Python, you know Pandas, you know NumPy, you know Excel, you know Power BI, right? So based on the things that you have written, the task is to find how many jobs are there based on these skill sets. Or not only that, you can also dig a shallow walkthrough of it, or basically just finding how many jobs are there for data analyst in Noida, or data analyst in Delhi, or data analyst in Hyderabad, or data analyst in Mumbai. You can also compare their salaries, right? So this is a basic kind of things that you want to make. So you can either go for a skill based job search, or you can go for the second thing where you are going for a job analysis, and that is not only the job analysis but based on the location. You can also go for this job analysis based on location, and you can also do a salary kind of comparison. Okay, so basically your task is to make a kind of interface, or basically if at this point of time, not if an interface, but you can write your name or your or your job profile, whatever you want. It will do some basic analysis of that. Okay, now one thing is for sure, that we can be more specific to this. Guys, please don't do it. Okay. So you can be very specific to this. For example, you can do just the skill based job search. For example, you can mention your skills and you will get whatever jobs that are there. You can go for job analysis based on location. So on location, you can go for different things, right? Or you can have different parameters inside this part as well. Or you can go for the final salary comparison. Okay. So there are different things that can be done that can help you do exactly the same thing. Okay. I think you guys don't like, some of you don't want it. Come on, man. Mm. Okay, if you want it in this way. So I think I need to just give me a second. Okay. So now I'm going back. Now I'm going to show you the data so that it will be pretty simple for you to see. Okay. So now, as you can see, this is the data that I have, which is enough to answer these questions that I have mentioned. Okay. And now let me show you what the data set is all about. So in Pandas, I have loaded the data set, and let me save this whole thing inside the data set, which is called it data is equals to this. Okay. So now I have job ID. Now, what is this job ID? Every username, for example, every user on Instagram have a unique user ID, right? Every user have their unique email address, their unique Aadhaar number, uh, uh, their unique identifier, right? So in on the internet, every web page has a unique link that is a unique identifier for that particular page. In SQL, we call it as a primary key. So every job posting as well has a unique ID, right? So this is the job ID that we have. We have the job role. This is the company who's allowing it. Uh, there is experience. Okay. There is salary. Some of, for a lot of you, it's not disclosed, but for some of you, it's disclosed as well. Okay. We have a location. Okay. So based on location, you can search how many jobs are there in specific location. We have the rating. Okay. We have reviews. We have a responsibility. This is something I was talking about. So for example, if someone has mentioned, I know about, for example, Power BI. So this job should appear, right? There is a job of Power BI developer at EY 5 to 10x experience, right? Not only that, there are a lot of other links as well. There are other columns as well. Okay. So now, and if I'm executing it again, this data is saved in this data variable for now. So if I show this data, this will show you the whole data. So if you look closely at this has 79,147 job postings. And for every job posting, I have 12 columns, means 12 features for every job posting, 12 different details for every job posting, right? Now the funda is pretty simple. What I need to do, if I want to show, now we will discuss about some of the important functions of pandas, right? Rather than importing pandas, because for every function I need to use pandas dot read CSV, pandas dot something or concatenate. So we can use alias, or we call it alias as well, where rather than using pandas, I can just write PD, which is a nickname. In SQL as well, we have the same concept. And it's a best naming convention that rather than using data, I use DF. My data is stored as DF. Now, the question might be, what is DF? DS is nothing but the data frame, right? So now the funda is, if I go for DF, and if I'm writing DF dot head, if I'm writing DF dot head and executing it, you can see it is showing you first 5 rows of the data. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, yes, now we are back with no more disturbance with the annotations. And now the funda is, using df.head, I can show you the first 5 rows of the data set. And if we have head, we must have tail as well. So yes, we have tail as well. So this will show you last 5 rows of the data set. Okay. Here the first column is nothing but the row index, or what I would say, the row number. That's it. This part is not in the actual data set. This is just how it is loaded in the data, loaded in pandas, basically. Okay. This is nothing but a table. Clear? So using just df.head or df.tail, you can explore this data. If you want just first 2 rows, you can write df.head of 2. If you want first 10 rows, you can pass here 10. Okay. But if you want 5 rows, you can either pass 5, or even if you don't pass 5, the default value it takes is of 5. Okay. Now let's go back to this particular diagram. Okay. And let's see what are the different steps that we need to perform once we have the data. Because once we have the data, in data exploration and data cleaning as well, we have different steps, right? So let's write all these steps here. So what are the steps do we have in data exploration? So in data exploration, we have a couple of steps. First step is to explore the data. In data exploration and cleaning, basically, we have some steps. Okay. Steps to analyze the data. Okay. So the steps to analyze the data basically goes something like this. Let me copy and paste it for now. So data analysis steps. Okay. So whenever talking about the data analysis step, first step is to explore the data, or do an superficial exploration. Means how many rows do we have, how many columns do we have, what are the data types of each and every column, how many missing values do we have. All these things comes under here. Okay. That is column exploration, right? We can check the data types, we can check what I would say, the null values, we can check if we have duplicate values or not. So all these things will check in the data exploration part. Okay. So basically to give, the first step is data exploration, where we'll deal with all these things. Okay. And there are some other things as well that we are, when I'm going to load the data, explore the data, we'll discuss about in detail. But this is the first step where we are exploring the data. Then we have the second part, which is called as data cleaning. In the data cleaning, we will be discussing about if we have null values, dealing with null values. And then we will be having to go to dealing with, means the exact same thing, but dealing with duplicates. Not only dealing with null values and the duplicate values, we will be cleaning individual columns as well. For example, I know that if I go back, this job ID is having a data type that is float in nature. We don't want float data type, right? Because the job ID should be numeric or should be string in nature. It should not be 10 to the power something, right? It should not be like this. In the exact same way, if I'm talking about experience, it's an 1 to 6 year experience, but this is of string type. If I want the job to be like if I'm 2 years having 2 years of experience, I want to know how many jobs do we have. So 2 is a number. I want to do a numeric comparison. So for that purpose, I need to clean this column, right? So all these things are done in the data cleaning part, right? Clean columns. And in cleaning the columns, we also have cleaning not only the individual columns, but basically, okay, in the data cleaning, we can also remove unwanted columns. Now, unwanted columns are basically, that depends totally on the problem statement. If a problem statement is about a specific thing, there will be if the problem statement has a couple of questions that can be answered based on ABC column. If I don't want D, E, and or F columns, so I can easily remove it. Okay. So in removing the unwanted column, this is also part of the game. Okay. And once we have all the data cleaned, then we will go for analyze the data. Okay. And in analyze the data, whatever questions do we have in the key performance indicators, those questions should be answered. Okay. Questions for analysis. Okay. So this is basically it. This is a 3-step process. That is it. Clear? So in the data analysis, this is what we have. So the first step is flow of the data analysis project. Then we dig deeper into in terms of coding, what we need to do. So this is what we need to do. Okay. And now I have defined my problem statement, and let's go for one single problem statement that is at this point of time, a skill based or basically location based job search. Let's go for location based analysis. Okay. So for that purpose, first of all, as you can see, as I've shown you here, the first step is to explore the data set. Explore the data, explore each and every column, explore the data types of it, check the null values and check the duplicate values. Do we have any null or duplicate values or not? Okay. Once we have all these things, then we'll go for all the other kind of details. Okay. What are KPIs? KPIs are key performance indicator, or basically they are the questions on which the agenda is dependent, right? For example, if you have a meeting with the shareholder of the companies to show them how your company is performing. Now the agenda is to show them the performance of the companies. Now, to find the performance of the companies, there are different indicators. There are number of sales, there's total amount of sales, there is a bucket size, how many people are buying it, there is the average like SKUs that you have sold, there might be the stock price if that is going up or not. So there are different parameters through which this question can be answered, right? So these KPIs are the key performance indicators that can help you fulfill this agenda. Okay. So now I can go back and now we'll go for writing this thing. Okay. So as the first step is the exploration of the data. So let's explore the data. And in exploration of the data, let me write it here as well. And so that it would be easier for you to keep track. Okay. So here I can also write the things for example, the first step is here is data exploration. Okay, so this is data exploration. And in the data exploration part, first I have a couple of functions that I can execute. I can go for df.info. So writing df.info will give you basic details of the data set. Details like these are the entries. Entries mean number of rows starting from 0th index to 79146. It does make sense. These are the columns that I have. These are the name of the columns. These are the number of not null values. Not null values means the values that are not null, right? The values that are there. So from here you can see there are a lot of missing values in rating and reviews column. All and here we are also checking the data types. So all of them are having object data type. Now what is object? Object is nothing but text, string. Okay, and there are two columns which has float data type. So I need to change a lot of the data types as well. Okay, this is the basic info function. We also have describe function. So describe function will basically give the basic description of the data set, the mean, and basically it will only work on numeric columns, integer or float. So this is why it's only executed on job ID and rating column. It's giving you the mean, max, standard deviation, first quantile, second, third, fourth. So it is giving you this kind of detail. Now, the agenda is to explore the data, explore the columns, each and every column, and explore their data types. Now I know the data types. Let's check the null values and then explore each and every column one by one so that I can know what exactly has to be done. Okay. So if I'm writing df dot is null dot sum, this is a function that will help you find the sum of the null values. So if I'm executing it, this is what I have. This is the exact number of null values or missing values I have in the data set, each and every column. So there are 480 job rules whose job ID you don't know. There are 480 jobs whose job role I don't know. There are 480 jobs whose companies are missing. There are 481 jobs whose salary is missing. Now, there are salary which is not disclosed, but there are salary which is not even written on anything. Okay. So here you can see these are the missing values that I have. So these missing value has to be cleaned, right? Now, how to clean them? That's also a different story because I can either remove the rows. Okay. Now, if I remove the rows, how many jobs do I have in total? I have 79 or 80,000 jobs in total. If I remove all the rows, so all the things are manageable, but for rating and reviews, there are 35,000 of them. Even if I'm not taking care of rating and reviews, rest all the things are pretty manageable. I can remove maximum of 2000 rows. If I have total 80,000 rows, 2000 is not even like not even 5% of it. So I can get rid of it. That's totally fine. But removing 36,000 of them is like 40% of the data. I can not remove this much of rows. Okay. So I need to go for some other strategy for sure. Okay. So in the data exploration part, first part is where I have written .head, .tail, .info so that I can get basic details of the data set. And in this particular part, here I'm going with 1.1 where I'm writing here, checking null values. Okay, so there are different companies following a different kind of structure here. You can also write here checking and dealing with null values. And in the data cleaning part, you don't need to deal with the null values. That's something that can be done. Okay. But at right now, I'm just checking the null values and I know there are a lot of null values I have here. Okay. In the exact same way, in the second step, I'm also checking 1.2, which is checking duplicate values. Okay. Now, how will you check duplicates? Now, to check duplicates, you need to find based on which column you will check the jobs are duplicated or not. I cannot check it based on job roles because two companies might be hiring for the exact same job role. I cannot take company because there might be multiple companies hiring. I cannot take experience, salary, location, rating, reviews, responsibility. I can take job link. That's for sure. I cannot company links because multiple companies will have the same link. So I can take job link or I can take job ID. Now, job link and job ID are exactly the same thing, right? So what I can do, I can take any of them. That's totally fine. Okay. I'm going to take job link for now. Okay. Or basically, let's talk. I'm going to take job ID for now. Okay. So I can write df dot drop underscore. We also have function which is called as dot duplicated dot sum. It will give you the number of duplicated values, right? There are 5801 jobs that are duplicated. Okay. So let's do one thing, dot drop underscore duplicates, right? But here my task is to just check the duplicates, right? I will remove the duplicates in the next step in the data cleaning part. Okay. So dot sum, and then the duplicated part as well. It would be great if I'm giving any subset is equals to, I don't know if we can directly give the subset in this way or I need to do some other approach, but let's give it a try. I want to go with J based on job ID. Okay, so based on job ID, I have 6137 unique duplicates. So I'm going to remove it afterwards, right? Now the funda is, what's the next step? So usually explore the data, explore the data types. Let me add both of these things here so that will be exactly the flow as I mentioned you. Okay, now I'm going to explore each and every column. I've already explored the data type of it using info function. Okay, now why I want to explore each and every column? I am exploring each and every column so that I can check what exactly kind of cleaning I need to do on that column. Okay, I can also write df.columns. It will give you the list of all the column names. Now what I'm going to do, if I want to select just a specific column, you can write df bracket opens and write the exact name of the column. So this is the column and this column has the float 64 data type. Okay, so I'm going to clean this. Okay, and whatever cleaning that has to be happened, make sure to write it somewhere so that in the data cleaning part, it can be easily handled. So the second step is going to be data cleaning, right? So in the data cleaning, you can also keep track of all the things. For example, these are the null values that has to be handled. So here you can mention here that in the second part, 2.1, I'm going to dealing with the null values where I'm going to remove the null values. And here you can write couple of things for for yourself. For example, uh, all these details or basically all the columns are manageable. But here you can see I'm going to remove rows with null values except for rating and reviews, except rating and reviews, right? And then here I can write deal with rating and reviews separately. That does make sense, right? Because I cannot take both of the things in the exact same manner, otherwise there will be some lot of issues. Why I'm writing it? Because while exploring it only, you know what exactly has to be done in the data cleaning part. Same thing will be done in the duplicated part as well. So you can go for the second step where you can mention 2.2, which is dealing with duplicates. Okay, now there are a lot of users or working professionals as well doing data exploration and cleaning, specifically duplicates and null values. They will directly go for checking and dealing with null values, checking and dealing with duplicate values, and then the rest of the thing will go in the exact same way. That's also something that can be used. Okay, so now I know these are the two things that I need to do in the data cleaning part. And whatever thing that you need to do, you can also write one or two liners so that it is for you to know what exactly has to be done. Okay. So in the 2.3 part, your task is to know, like, to the job ID column, what you know what to do, right? Change the data type of job ID, right? Because job ID has to be cleaned. Okay. Now what's the next column? The next column is job role. Now the funda is, this is the job role that I have. Now to a job role, what exactly you can do? I don't think so you can do anything to the job ID, right? So what exactly can be done? Because a person can write job ID to anything. For example, if I go for branch banking, calling for women candidates, product owners, so there will be some job roles for data scientist, data analyst, AI developer. So it's not mandatory that all of the companies might be searching for Power BI developer, right? Some of them might be writing for Power BI engineer, or they can write anything, right? So I need to deal with them separately. But at this point of time, job role is something that should be treated as it is. Okay. Because we need to standardize this somehow. So for example, senior BI intelligent architect. So this is a pretty niche job role, right? But a better job, a better, I would say, BI architect might be a standardized job role rather than writing senior BI and then business intelligence as well. Okay, that's totally fine. So I am exploring this job role column, and here you can see I don't have much to do with this. But you can also go for some functions. For example, dot unique. It will give you the number of unique job roles in a list format. You can also go for, if you want to know how many unique job roles are there, you can also pass the exact same thing inside the length function. It will give you the list. So there are 51,051 unique job rules. So do you think we have 51,051 unique job rules in total? No, right? I'm not pretty sure, but I'm pretty sure about this thing that 51,000 is a pretty huge number, right? So there might be some issues because some of the HRs might have written data analyst, some of them might have written data analysis, some of them might have written DA, some of them might have written junior DA or senior DA, or probably spelling mistakes in data analysis. That's also something that can happen, which lead to 51,000 unique values. If data is standardized, if job roles are standardized, then that is the best thing that can be done. But at this point of time, it's not being done. So I need to deal with it separately. You can also go for dot value count. Value count will give you like there how many times each category appear in this column. For example, in job role, there are 51,050 rows from zero to the last. So this is the job role, business development executive, with 305 job openings. Solution architect, 728. And because this is again a data frame of all these rows, I can also write dot head here. It will return you top 5 rows. I can write head of 10 here. It will give you 20 rows. Okay. I can go for 20 and it will give you 20 rows. So these are the job openings that I have. And here you can see we have data science specialist, but there will be a different job for data scientists, right? So I need to check about these things as well, because usually I'm thinking for a data scientist, but here I have data science specialist, which has 254 jobs. And on top of it, we don't have more jobs than this of any data scientist. So there must be some other job role and named as data scientist, which has lesser jobs than this. So based on this, you know which job roles are already there where you can apply. Okay. Now there is also someone who have written in the jobs part this. Now you need to deal with these things as well. Best way to deal with these things is use any LLM tool. Use any large language model tool. It's a bit advanced thing to deal with. Otherwise, you need to go for a lot of if-else conditions to deal with. Okay. But let's go back. And now I know there's some cleaning has to be done, but at this point of time, let's leave it because this is too complex to deal with using just basic data analysis techniques. Okay. There are things that can be done, but you need to use some LLMs or these kind of techniques to deal with it. Okay. Now, what's the next thing? Next column is company. And I think company's column is pretty straightforward. Good to go on my side. Okay. I don't know there's much thing has to be done, but still let's check the number of unique companies using any unique function. There are 50,000 unique companies. Okay. That's fine. And by performing dot value underscore counts here, You can check, okay, there are 5,000 job roles by Lave Associations. There are 4,400 of them by Accenture, Tech Mahindra, right? Okay, these are how many of them hiring. So if I go, I'm going for head of 10, I will get top 10 companies which are hiring for most number of roles. That's totally fine. Okay. Next, we have experience column. So let's go for experience value count in the exact same way. And here you can see there are 8,000 jobs for 5 to 10 years experience, 4,400 for 3 to 8. 3,302 for 1 to 6. But I want to analyze it in detail. For example, how many jobs are there exactly for 3 year of experience? Because for 3 year experience, these jobs should be there. These jobs should also be there. These jobs, these jobs, all these jobs should be there, except this one for 3 years experience candidate, right? So your task is to find that as well. So I know there is something that has to be done on the experience column. Okay, so let's write it here that I need to 2.4 clean experience column. What exactly has to be done on the experience column? That's we need to find. But the best thing is you can do is split the minimum and the maximum part, and then it would be easier for you to clean it. Okay. In the salary part, do we have any issue? If you clean the salary part, yes, there are 45,000 people whose salary is not disclosed. Okay, so I need to deal with them separately. And there are 3,300 people giving or jobs with this particular job, this particular salary offering. And there are a couple of them which are giving the same kind of thing here. Now, we need to clean this salary column as well, because right now the salary is in text format, right? So I cannot do a comparison. For example, if I have given myself a salary like I'm expecting 15 LPA, so I need to search it somewhere, and I cannot search it in text. I need to search it in numbers. So, and this is a text, so I need to deal with it separately. So I have written that this column has to be cleaned as well. Okay, do I need to clean the location column? Let's give it a try for now. Okay, so here you can see, yes, I need to clean this location column, but for most of it, I hope it will work even without cleaning it as well. Because for cleaning it, we again need to use some LLM or AI techniques, because Bangalore/Bangalore, how will you clean it? Okay, you can definitely split it and after that clean it at some extent, but largely it will not work. Okay, but at some point we will split it. Okay, so let's see that we need to clean this city column as well. Okay, in the best way it can be cleaned with an LLM, but you can clean it at some particular level using basic techniques. Okay, so rating reviews are something that are not of my use as per the agenda, as per the use case. Rating and reviews are something that are not very useful, so I can remove these columns as well. Responsibility is something you can give it a try. What exactly do we have in the responsibilities? Not go for value counts, just go for responsibility in hand, and these are how responsibilities are written. Okay, posted on, and here you can see posted on is not a very good column to have. Okay, because if I go for dot unique, it basically has all this data, 1 day ago, 3 day ago. It is not having the exact date and time. So the best thing you can do is remove this column as well. Okay, so in removing the unnecessary column part, I'm going to do this as well. And the best thing you can do, removing the unnecessary column should be the first thing. So that would be easier. Okay. Even removing the unwanted columns, unnecessary columns should be the second thing to do, because it will narrow down the kind of analysis that you are going to do. Okay. So here only, let me remove the unnecessary column. Remove the columns that are not of our use. Okay. Now, because my agenda, if I go back, because my agenda is to go for a job analysis based on a location, or based on probably salary comparison, or based on skill job search. It is not, if, or let's suppose if my agenda is to go for a skill or location based search. So here the main columns are skill, or basically responsibilities, location, job title, job ID. These are the columns that are important for me. Is the column like rating or reviews that important for me? Yes, it is, but not that much. So you can remove these columns as well, but these columns can be taken care as well, because if I have, for example, 10 different job roles that are specifying my condition, I need to sort them based on something, right? So I can sort them based on the best company with the best rating, right? So rating and reviews are something that I'll take for now, but posted on and job link are not that important. If I want to show, if you want to show them, okay, this is the job role, go apply on this particular link, then job link is important, but posted on and company link are not important. Okay. If you, because these things can be easily found with job ID as well, for you to show them the data, because the project is coming from someone else's team. So you can just show them this particular job IDs, and then based on the job ID, they will find the link and all the other things. Okay. So in removing these unnecessary columns, you can also drop them. For example, you can write df of which column you want to drop. For example, posted on column you want to drop. And not only that, I also want to drop this job link column for now. Okay. And not only that, I also want to drop this company link column. So what you can do, you can write delete, delete. You can also drop all of them in one single line. Now, if I'm executing this, I have just these many columns. Okay. So now posted on column will also throw in error, because now we don't have posted on columns. So now I know what exactly has to be done on the data set. Okay. Now comes the data cleaning part. Clear? So first of all, if you go back, this is how the thing has to be done. First of all, we need to go for agenda, problem, finding the KPIs, collecting the data, data exploration, data cleaning. Now data exploration part is done. Okay. Because we have explored each and every column, the minimum, the maximum, we have performed value count, we have performed unique, dot and unique, these kind of functions. And we have known like what exactly has to be done. Now, in the data cleaning part, let's see how data cleaning has to be done. Now, in the data cleaning part, we need to deal with null values. So let's show you the data frame first, and then we'll see how to deal with the null values. So let's check the null values again. So I know there are a lot of null values, but to deal with null values, these column has to be treated separately. Okay. So what I'll do, I'm going to remove the jobs where job ID is missing, because job ID is the most important column. This is going to tell you if the job is valid or not. If job is invalid, why to do any other analysis? So job ID is an important column. It is great if I'm removing the rows with job ID column. Okay. So basically, I'm going to remove the jobs, remove the rows where job ID is missing. So I'll go for df dot drop underscore duplicate. And here I will pass subset is equals to job ID. So if I'm executing it, I end up having 73010 number of rows. Okay. And now this is the data frame. So I can also go for dot is null dot sum function here as well. So now, okay, in job ID still have one missing rows. Okay, I need to check why do we, okay, it's not drop duplicates. I need to drop the NA. NA for null value. Sorry, I used a different function. df dot drop NA. df drop NA is a function that we have here. Drop NA with some with subset of the job ID. Yes, spellings were not correct. So if I'm writing drop NA, so these are the number of rows I have now. My null values are removed. Okay. And now if I check dot is null dot sum, now I have 0 missing rows. And you can see the difference. I have removed the rows with job ID missing. So job role here as well null value 0. Here the null value is 1. Here the null value is 0 and 20 here. So basically that means the jobs whose job ID is missing, there are same jobs whose job role is also missing, whose companies are also missing, whose salary is also missing, right? So one thing is pretty clear that I will use this particular technique to remove the null values from job ID. But now what to do with the remaining ones? That's something that we need to think again, right? Now, to do it or basically to think again, there are 20 missing value in responsibility column. There are total of 78,000 rows. Out of them, even if I'm removing 20 of them, that's totally fine. Okay. So based on not only based on job ID, I'm also removing the null values based on the responsibility, because this is hardly like 0.01% of the data, 0.01%, 20 job rules. So I'm removing them as well. There is one company who's one row with company missing. So let's add the company here as well, right? So now if I'm executing it, I only have null values in experience, location, rating, and reviews column. So for them, I'll deal with it separately. Okay. So now this is what we have. So what I can do, I can take this and I can write it in df is equals to, right? So basically, if I'm executing it, and then if I'm writing df dot is null dot sum after that, df dot is null dot sum, I only have missing values in experience, location, rating, and reviews column. Now, what to do with these columns? Am I going to remove these rows to deal with the null values? No, removing it will create an issue. So what I'll do for now, I'll just see the experience column. What do we have in experience column, right? So in the experience column, this is what we have. If I go for a value count, here you can see there are 8,000 jobs with 5 to 10 years of experience, 4,400 of them with 3 to 8 of experience. And there are 1,200 jobs whose experience is missing. Shall I do one thing? I will take this 5 to 10 years of experience and fill it in the place of null. So I will go for dot fill NA and I will write this. Wheresoever I have null values, I will write 5 to 10 years of experience, right? This is not the best thing you can do, right? But this thing will do something at least, that I will still have the null values. It would be great if you can go for correlation kind of a thing. For example, if there are job rules whose experience is missing, and but I have their, for example, company. So I know the average salary of the company, right? Or average experience the company is looking for. So I can go for these kind of things and fill it here. But at this point of time, fill it with this particular kind of a thing will do something at least, right? So now I've done it. Okay. And now if I check, do we have null values in the experience column or not? Now in the experience column, I don't have null values, right? The exact same thing I'll also try to do with location, right? But to do it for location, I will go for location. I will go for location here as well. But rather than going for this kind of things, first of all, I'll go for location and check what's the most frequent location, right? And to go for the most frequent location, I can go for dot value underscore counts again. And I know Bangalore is the most frequent location. So I can go back to the data and in the location part, I'll fill this. And now if I go back and check in location column as well, I don't have any null data. That's great, right? Now, if I go for rating, let's go back to rating as well. Let's find the solution of this one as well. So if I go for df of rating, this is what we have. Okay. If I go for dot value underscore counts, okay. So here you can see there are these many jobs with 4.1 rating, with 1 rating. So the minimum rating I have is 1. Okay. But if you look closely, if there might be some companies which are so new that rating is not given to them. Okay, let's do one thing. The same thing, let's go for rating count as well. Or rating count or reviews. The column name is reviews. Means how many people have given the reviews. Okay, so as you can see, this is the review distribution that we have. So let's go for dot unique and see, do we have companies with 0 reviews or not? Okay, so the list is huge, but I don't think so there will be anything with 0 reviews exactly. Okay, so let's go and find it as well. Calls 0 and we don't have any, right? So basically our assumption is correct. That is, there are jobs, uh, but whose rating is 0, their reviews are also missing. So basically, if you go back to this data and look closely, in the missing values, there are equal number of missing values in rating and reviews. That means the companies whose ratings are missing, their reviews are also missing. And there are companies with at least 1 rating. So there might be couple of people who already have rated something. So those companies are valid. But if the companies have no rating, so there will be no reviews as well. 0 rating, 0 review. So it would be great if we put 0 rating and 0 reviews in place of it, right? But that decision is not taken at random. We have done some analysis on top of it, then only we have done it. Okay, so this is something that has to be taken care first. Okay, now this part is pretty much clear. We are filling the null values. Here we are filling the null values as well. So all these things at the end, I'm going to execute in such a way that all these things will be done in one single go. And here I can also write why. So I have removed some of the null values based on exact rows. Some of the values I have filled. Here I have filled them based on the most frequent one, and the rating and reviews are something I'm going to fill it with zeros or something like that, right? So I'll go for rating. So in the rating is of int64 type, right? And if I go for rating is int60, okay, do I have missing values in rating? Yes, I have rating and reviews. These are the two columns where I have missing values. Okay, so rating, this is what we have, but this is rating value count. If I go for exact rating column, so this is of float 64 with the minimum value 0.0 should be added. So the best thing you can do is you can write here dot fill the null values here with the rating 0.0, because the rating column already have the data type float. So rather than going for any other data type and rather than just writing 0, it would be great to go for 0.0. The exact same thing we need to do for df of reviews. So if I go for reviews, this is how reviews are written. Okay, so best thing you can do is replace them with dot fill an a with 0 space reviews. Because in the following part, I'm going to clean this column. And while cleaning this column, the same structure will follow. Okay, so now the funda is pretty simple. I'm loading the data set, checking the null values, checking the duplicates, removing the unnecessary columns, and removing the null values. Okay, you can also write dot in place is equals to true. Okay, this thing will also work. But now if I'm checking df dot is null dot sum, now my data set is cleaned. right? And I I haven't told you earlier, but the funda is data analysis is 80% data cleaning. This data set is not messy, right? But it is decent messy so that you can see exactly what's happening. Okay. So now my data set is cleaned, clear, or not properly cleaned, but I don't have missing values, right? And now the next step is to deal with the duplicates, right? So now to deal with duplicates, the funda is pretty simple. I will take the resultant data frame because in this data frame, I don't have any I don't have any missing values. So what I'll do, I'll write a df dot drop underscore duplicates. And here I can write subset is equals to job ID. Pretty simple, right? And then I can pass the original data frame here. So here you can see now I have 78646 rows. And after this, I have how many rows? 72988. So I have lost around 8,000 jobs, but they are important to remove because they have they have some duplicate data. They have exactly the same job rules, exactly the same job IDs. So I have removed the data based on the duplicates as well. Okay, now I need to also change the data type of job ID because I have explored it earlier. So how to change the data type of job ID column? That's pretty simple. Currently, the data type is float 64. So can I directly convert it into integer? Yes. So I can write dot as type. There is another function, and here I can write it. The data type is converted into integer. That's great, right? So now, if you want to convert it into string, you can convert it into string as well, but this is how it looks with dot zero at the end because you are converting a float directly into int. So it is going something like this. If your job ID is 1.3.0, so currently the job ID is 123. So directly converting will work in this way. But if you are converting into a string, it will become 1.3.0. So if you want to take it in a string, but in 123, you need to convert it into int first and then string. So to do exactly the same thing, you need to either convert it to the integer first and then convert it into string. So this is how the job ID looks. And that's it. You need to copy it, paste it again. And here your job ID column is also cleaned, right? There's some warning it is giving. You can disable the warning of that as well. Okay. And now we need to go to the next question. That is it, right? How to clean the experience column. Okay. So let's open the experience column. And there is going to be an assignment as well that I'm going to share at the end of this session. So make sure to go ahead with it before coming to the next class that we are going to have tomorrow. Okay. The funda is pretty simple. This is how the salary looks. Now, my agenda is to find the salary of the person because in one of my agenda, like usually for every agenda that we have mentioned, there will be some specific set of questions. Okay. Questions like, for example, if I go here, there will be another repository that I can show you where I have different agenda of the same data set. And the repository name is job analysis case study. Okay, I'm going to share with this link with you as well. I don't know if I've shared with you already or not. Okay, so in this particular link, if you reached, here you can see there are different ways through which this data can be analyzed. This data can be analyzed based on finding the company insights. You can go to every company and find how much job posting the company is having, what are the different job roles that companies hiring for, what are the requirements a company based on that you can basically get into that company, what's the average salary that they are giving, what are the different location based on that uh, the company is hiring. So you can do different questions answered based on one single column, that is company insights. So you can do a company insight kind of analysis. You can do a market trend kind of analysis. How market trend is going, which company, which job is the most trending one. Okay. What's the average salary that they are getting? Okay. You can do a responsibility kind of analysis that we are doing right now, that you can mention any skill of your choice and they can analyze it further. You can go for experience versus salary kind of analysis. You can go for location kind of analysis. And not only that, all these topics that are mentioned, you can go to the recommended files along with that, the MD file here as well. And it will give you a set of questions that can be answered. Okay, which column has to be the output. So you can also go for this particular data set, this particular repository, and this repository will help you analyze it in a better manner. Okay. Or you can also give the same data set to a ChatGPT or LLM kind of a model and ask it to generate a case study based on this specific data set and generate list of 10 questions. So it will go through the data set and give you a list of 10 questions, and then you can write the code by yourself to find the answer of those questions. Okay. And now I know that my question is to that I will be having the question to analyze the data set, which is if I want to find how many jobs I have for a 2 experienced candidate or 3 experienced candidate or 4 experienced candidate or things like that. Okay. And let me write the question in the data analysis part as well, because this is going to show you a very important insights. Data analysis. Okay. And the data analysis, the first question I'm writing here is uh, number of jobs as per the experience. How many number of jobs do we have as per one experience, two experience, three experience, four experience, five experience, so on. This is the answer that I'm going to give in the next class. Okay. So for that purpose, to find the answer of this question, you need to first of all clean this experience column, because to go for, if I'm going for this experience column, and let's go for dot unique. In the unique part, I will get all the unique experiences that people have written. 1 to 6 years, 11 to 15 years. Okay. So here you can see a very common point in all of them. And the common point is all of them have written years, have written starting year, have written minimum or maximum year, right? And this pattern is repeating for all of them. Even for 0, it has written 0 to 0 years. Okay, that's also great. 0 to 13 years, 8 to 10 years, and so on. Now, the funda is, my task is to clean this column into such a way that I can easily retrieve the number of jobs of 1 years, 2 years, 3 year experience, and so on. But to find the job for 1 year, this job is clearly mentioned for 1 year, or but this job is also mentioned for, should be mentioned for 1 year. So basically how I will check it, the process is pretty simple. I will take first number and the second number, and I will check if my number is either equal to lesser or equals to greater, or greater than lesser, greater than this, or less than this. This is the condition that I need to check, right? And to do that, I need to split the minimum and maximum. This is something that has to done. So basically I need to create two new columns. One of them will be storing maximum year experience, another them storing minimum years of experience. Both of them should be in integer format so that I can perform arithmetic operations on it. I can do a comparison operation on it. The funda is pretty simple, right? The funda is pretty straightforward. Okay. Yes, I'll share the collab at the end of the session. Clear? So in the DF of experience column, my task is to first of all remove this years part. ये years part किसी काम का नहीं है, तो इसको हटा देते हैं सबसे पहले. So df dot, now how to remove this particular part? Now this is the beauty of pandas. For everything we have some function that will help you do so. Okay, there is a long part to do exactly the same thing. Let me show you how. कि मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? I will go for I in df of experience and print I. So it will print all the experiences one by one. Let me take first 10 of them. So this is what it is doing. So this I is nothing but if I print the type of I, this is nothing but a string, right? So with a string, can I do one thing? Can I write dot split based on dash? And it is splitted. But before that, I need to remove this years, right? So let's right? Dot replace this years with nothing. This is a very basic Python function. I'm taking a string. Inside that string, I'm going to replace years. Wheresoever years it is written will be replaced with this. So now if I'm executing it, this is what I get. This is again a string. Now on this particular string, if I'm writing dot split based on dash, now I have both the data splitted. Left one is minimum experience, right one is maximum. But here I have extra space as well, right? Extra space might occur in the first hand as well. So because this is a list, so can I take the 0th index of it? It will give you the minimum one. And can I take the right index of it? It is the last. It will give you the right part of it. So can I do one thing again? I will take the left part of it, right dot strip function. Now strip function will remove the unnecessary spaces, and dot strip function here as well, which will again remove the unnecessary spaces here. And let me write here end is equals to just a dash. So this is what we have. This is my clean data. Now, this is one way of doing it, but the exact same thing can be easily done with, let's see how it can be easily done. Okay, I can take df of experience column. Now, what I want to do, I want to go to the string part of it, go to each and every row of this column, and then perform a text-based operation on it. So for that purpose, I will write .str. Okay, and in that particular place, I will write dot replace. What I want to replace? I want to replace this years with nothing. So now if I'm executing it, this is something that you will get. That's how easy it is. You don't need to go for a for loop, right? Once the replace part is done, now this is the resultant data frame that you have. Now what you need to do, you need to perform again a string operation. And you can go for dot str dot split based on dash. This is what you have, a list this time. So what you can do, you can go for again inside it as dot str, and this time you want to go for the 0th index of it. So let's extract 0th index of it. And here you have in front of you the minimum experience. With just one single line of code, you have it. Now this is of object type, and as I've told you, dot str dot strip as well, let's apply it so that unnecessary spaces will be removed. And then let's change this data type to integer. So this is the one line solution to create minimum experience column. Isn't it great? That's it. That is the magic of pandas. Otherwise, there will be a lot of issues that you will be facing. If you are going for a for loop and doing all these things, this thing can be done, but it will not be as efficient as it should be. Clear? So this is how I have created the minimum experience column. In the exact same way, if I change the index to 1, I will create maximum experience column. And once that part is done, if I show you the data frame, I have two new columns. One with minimum experience, second is the maximum experience. That's great, right? So if I want to find how many jobs do we have with 1 or 2 to 4 or 5 or 8 year experience, you can easily find in the analysis part. But now I'm not going to find it because I'm going to do it in the next lecture. Clear? Now let's go for clean the salary column and clean the location column. Cleaning the salary column is something I'm giving it to you. Okay. Now, one more thing I'm going to discuss today in this particular lecture, that is cleaning the location column. Okay. And if I go for df of location, that is pretty straightforward. Here you can see this is how location is written. Okay. And because this is how location is written, so there is some problem because here it is written Kolkata comma, Hyderabad, Secunderabad, comma, Pune, comma, Ahmedabad, and so on. And if I take, let's suppose, the 0th index of it, this is the data in the first row. So the first job opening, these are how many locations they are hiring. Okay. Now, if I go for the next row, this is what you will get. Let's go for a couple of rows. Like for I in a range, for example, 1 till 10, and let's print of I. So these are the locations, right? So here the issue is there are multiple locations for them. They are for whom they are hiring. There is one location Kolkata. There is another location hybrid Kolkata. There is location Hyderabad, Secunderabad. There might be a location Secunderabad, Hyderabad as well. So first of all, I need to split all the different locations side by side so that I'll have the exact locations, right? And the second thing is we need to remove this all areas part. This all area part is there all around, right? And you can also go for first 20 or first 50 of them to get a better view of it. So here you can see we have this all area part that we can remove, right? It's there in most of the cases. And there is a hybrid part that we can remove as well, but that's something that should not be removed because this is also something that we can mention. Okay. In the exact same way, temporary work from home, Noida location. So this temporary work from home part is also something that can be removed. If you want to remove it or not remove it, that's totally up to you. Okay. But I'm going to remove this all areas part for sure. Okay. So let's do one thing. And rather than doing it in this particular way, as I've told you, you can remove it in this. Okay, minimum experience column, clean experience column, clean salary column. Okay, this is something that is given to you. So now I'll go to location column. And first of all, let's replace this all areas with something else, right? So .str dot replace this all areas with nothing. So now if I'm executing it and going for the first row, in first row earlier we have all areas. Do we have all areas now? Now I don't have all areas. So this is a good part. Okay. Second thing is now here you can see I can split all of them based on this comma, right? So I'll have unique cities. Okay. So dot split all of them with a comma. Okay, directly we cannot split it. Dot str dot split. This is what we have, right? So all the cities are now splitted in this way. So if I go for the 0th one, this is how it looks. Way better, right? Now what I can do, there are some extra spaces added as well, right? So let's remove them. Okay. But the more important part than that is there are some dashes based on that some new cities are also can be recognized. So let's do one thing, dot str dot split them again, but this time based on dash. And now if I'm executing it, okay, it's done. What's happening? Okay. Okay, this is what we have. So dot str dot split based on dash. So why is it returning something like this? Okay. Okay. Let me give it a try. So once I have this, this is how it is showing. Okay. Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's perform dot str dot strip function. Okay. So basically, all of them are of the object type. Dot as type string. Yes. And now if I go for dot split it again, dot str dot split, and this time split based on this one. Okay, so I think once this part is done, mm, so these are the kind of issues that you will get. Okay, and the worst part about these issues are these issues most of the time are very silly. They are very silly, right? When will you wrap the study session? Hardly in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes. Yes, the first one is returning a list. Yes, that is an issue. And I'm checking how you can convert this singular list that I have got right now into, okay, let's do one thing. Yes, you are correct. A better way of going with it is let's replace them. Okay, so wheresoever you have uh, the thing like locations, these are all the locations that we have. If I go for the first location, this is what we have. So let's do one thing. All these ones are, let's replace them. Dot replace, and rest replace this comma with dash. I'll tell you at the end why I'm replacing with the dash for now. Okay. So once this part is done, this is how it looks. Okay. Dot str. This is how it looks. Okay. Now replace this one as well. So dot str dot replace this. Replace this / with this as well. And now if I'm showing the 0th index of it, this is how it looks. Okay. Hyderabad, Secunderabad, Pune, Ahmedabad, City, NCR, Mumbai. This is how it looks. Seems okay. Okay. And now let's write str dot strip function to remove the unnecessary spaces from here. And how it looks, this is how it looks. Now what I can do, okay, now I can split them. Now I can split them. Can I go for direct dot title as well? So that the answer, so that the text, for example, Rajasthan is in lowercase, right? So if I want them to be an uppercase or things like that, I can also go for these kind of things. Okay. So rather than replacing it with a dash, let's go for some special character because Delhi NCR is written with dash. So replacing it with some special characters, for example, uh, star would be something better because this is the kind of character that no one will use, or this is the kind of character that no one will use. So replace them with something like this. So this is how it will look. Okay. And once that part is done, / is replaced. Yes, once this part is done, you can go for dot str dot title or capitalize or whichever function you want to use, you can use them. And now if we go for 0th index, this is how it looks. It's very promising than the other one. Now the final step is to split them. And now split them based on what? Split them based on, okay. Now I think I need to remove the spaces before just the last thing as well. Dot replace. And this time I'm going to replace all these spaces with these special characters as well, so that it will be easily done. And now if I'm splitting it with a space, dot str, now all the things, okay, they are splitted based on this. So this is what we have. And now if I click on this of 0, this is how it looks. Okay. Okay. It still looks a bit weird. Let me give it a check again. Because there, as I've told you, there must be some silly mistake I might be doing. So this of 0. Okay. All of them. Okay, let's do one thing. All of them seems promising here as well. So let's dot str dot split directly, and this time just split it with a comma, and then we will replace it after that. Split it based on the comma, and then if I look at column 0, this is how it looks. Okay, and at the end I'm going to remove all of them with the space, with the unnecessary spaces. Or let's go for dot str dot strip one last time just to see if the code will work. Means just hope for the best. Just go for dot strip, and here the unnecessary spaces are being done. And here, this is what we have. Okay, we'll deal with it at the end of it, but this is what we have. Okay, now the exact same thing what we can do, we can go back, and these are also like, do we have anything in this string? No, we don't have anything in these string. So we can either join them as well and go for a bit better analysis, or go for a bit better function which can remove these things as well. Okay, so this is the thing that I'm giving to you. I know there is very silly mistake that uh, what I would say I'm making right now. But once this part is done, you can go for df of location, or what I would say clean location for a better word, and it will clean the location column for you. Okay, so this is basically what you can do to clean this column. So if I'm executing it rather than going for this, and now if I'm showing you df of clean location, this is what the location is right now. And then you can go for a better cleaning and better analysis. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let me go back and summarize whatever we have done so far. Okay, so if I go back, so first of all, we have discussed with the flow of a data analysis project. It is not start from the data, it start from the agenda or the problem statement. And here, first of all, we'll define the agenda, that I want to build a system that can recommend me the jobs based on the job that based on the skills that I have, or find the number of find the job based on the experience, based on the location. Okay, so this is the agenda. How to find it, how to sort them. This is the part comes under KPIs. For different projects, there will be different KPIs. Okay, and then here comes the data of data collection or data gathering. That totally depend upon the problem statement, that either you need to go for data collection or data gathering. In most of the cases, you will be have the data in your hand, because that's of the company specific thing. But there will be some specific use case for which you need to collect the data from the internet. For example, if I want to know which course I need to make next. So for that purpose, the best thing I can do is go to Google or go to my LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, let's go for a poll. And in the poll, let me give them some specific options that they can tap on. And based on that pool, I will get the latest data that I can integrate. In the exact same way, I can go for Google Forms, I can go for different kind of things from where I can collect the data. If you need to collect the data from the internet, for example, you need to search for the interview questions or things like that, you need to collect them, scrape them, and get the things done based on that. So for that purpose, or like the exact same data that I've shown you, if you need to do any work on that, so for that purpose, data collection is the key. Okay, so it's sometime the data is not something that your company have. You need to collect the data from the internet as well, and there are a lot of tools already available that will help you do so. In Python as well, you have a library named as a request. There is a library which is named as beautiful soup. There is a library named as selenium. There is a library named as scrapey that will help you scrape the data from the internet. Now we also have a lot of agentic AI tools that will help you do the exact same thing. Okay, then comes the data exploration part, and then comes the data cleaning part. So till the data cleaning part, means 70 to 80% of data cleanup part, we are already done for this particular project. Okay, and then comes the data analysis and data visualization part. Okay, so now if I go to this particular part in the data exploration, there are multiple steps as well. We'll load the data, we'll explore each and every column, remove all the unnecessary columns, check how many null values do we have, and based on the null value, we will uh, basically deal with them. We will check the duplicate values, and based on that, we will deal with them. We'll explore each and every column to know which thing has to be done, which task has to be done, which operation has to perform on these columns. Okay. And then once we have the understanding of the data, each and every column, then we will go and deal with the data cleaning. In the data cleaning, we'll remove the null values, we'll remove the duplicate values, and we will clean each and every column. Okay. And make sure to take only the columns which are important for you to find the answer of those questions. Okay. And as I've told you, it starts from the problem statement. Okay. So in this particular session, the agenda is somewhat fulfilled. We have discussed about what is pandas. Along with that, we have the same kind of libraries as well, which is matplotlib and seaborn plotly and all these things. In the job analysis project, we have discussed about data exploration part and data cleaning part. We have not discussed about the data analysis part yet, but we are going to discuss it in the upcoming lecture, means tomorrow's lecture. Okay. So this is what we have, and going to the coding part of it, let me write jobs analysis. Okay. And in this particular region, if you go back, in the first part, I'm cloning the data set and means cloning the repository and getting the data set. Then in the data exploration part, the first step is checking the null values, checking the duplicates, and removing the unnecessary columns. So this part is called as data exploration. In the data cleaning part, I'm dealing with null values, removing them. And not only that, I'm dealing with duplicate values as well, removing them. I'm changing the data type of this column because I know I've explored it already. I'm creating some new columns named as experience columns. I need to clean the salary column. This is something that I'm giving it to you. So make sure you clean it before coming to the next lecture. And we have cleaned the location column. This thing can also be better cleaned. And I have also shown you a way how you can do it with your uh, for loop and doing it with thing, but that is going to be a bit difficult to do. Okay. So whatever functions that you can apply on text, basic text using Python dot string dot split dot replace. Uh, these same kind of function I'm applying here as well, but this time step by step in a nested format. Okay, so this is a clean location column. So in the next class, we'll start with data analysis. I'll also summarize these particular part where I'll be having the final code. So we'll summarize this particular session in first 5 to 10 minutes, and then I will be having the exact question, pinpointed questions that we are going to analyze. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you some resources right here only so that it will be easier for you. Just give me a second. So copy it and let me paste it here only so that it will be easier for you. Okay. So here is the drawing link. So this is from where you can get the drawing, and this is the repository, GitHub repository from where you can get the data set. GitHub repo link. And along with that, there will be one more important link that I need to share it with you. And that link I am going to share. Okay. So I'm sharing this link with you as well. Okay. So this is the notebook. You guys can directly run it. So this is what we have. Along with that, if you guys have couple of questions, I'm going to give like last 2 or 3 minutes to take your questions. If some of your questions might get missed, so I'm also sharing my GitHub link with you. LinkedIn, sorry. So you guys can, sorry, this is Kaggle. This is the link. Okay. So now I'm going to take a couple of questions from you. So thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Can we end the session for taking a dinner? For sure. I also want to take it. Okay. So a regular expression for removing the special character. Yes, definitely. This is an important part. Uh, yes, we can also use a regular expression. Bankat Balaji. Yes, we can use it. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, as I've told you, there might be some silly mistake that I might have done. But yes, if you are done it, you know the hook. Okay. Okay. So I think there's no more question. How can we do better in group buy? Okay, that's something we are going to discuss in the next lecture. So stay tuned for that. Tomorrow's lecture is totally going to be dedicated on data analysis part. Okay, and somewhat data visualization part, data analysis and data visualization part. Okay, this doodle, this is not doodle, this is Google Colab notebook. I've shared the link already and I'm sharing it once more in case you guys have missed it. Okay, or okay. Sir, can we get quick revision tomorrow? Yes, we will get a quick revision tomorrow as well. Okay, hardly 10 minutes revision and then we'll go for this lecture. So thank you so much everyone for joining in and I'll see you in the next lecture, which is going to happen tomorrow. Okay, so is 3-day workshop for enough for pandas for data analysis? Yes, 3-day workshop. Okay, so actually 3-day workshop should not be enough, but uh, that totally depends upon the practice you are doing. Even it's same like 1-day project is enough. No, 1-day project is not enough. One project is not enough. Every data set is different. Every data set tells a different story. So you need to know which approach you should be following in which particular case. So in tomorrow's class, I'll also give you a couple of more projects that you guys can try it by yourself. So that is going to be enough. Clear? Telegram group link. I don't know which Telegram you are talking about. Sorry. Okay. Okay, then thank you so much everyone for joining in, and I'll see you in tomorrow's lecture at the same time, 8 to 10. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.